Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, headlines and music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm your host, Wendell Burns, with my counterpart, Savon Morris. How's it going?
It's going, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long week,
I
man.
hear you. Definitely, man. Well, we have a lot of topics to get into for this one. Obviously, some thoughts on South Carolina's undefeated season, some NBA topics, obviously, UConn repeating, and some album reviews. And to start off with thoughts on, South Carolina's undefeated season. This past Monday, they were able to close out their season beating Iowa. And this is a really spectacular. I mean, 38-0, winning 87-75, third title under Don Staley. Caitlin Clark had 30 points. Kessa Johnson had 19 points. And man, they were just. We always felt as though this was the most complete team. We kind of had said it, reiterated through. I was right about Iowa beating UConn, but they kind of got away with that call though. So,
Oh,
but
absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. But
absolutely.
Looking at South Carolina's win and what they were able to do with a magnificent season, what are kind of your overall thoughts?
Well, I knew even with UConn, I knew what they're going to do. They did it well. It's just that it just came down to the wire. Obviously, what I said was make the other team beat
Yeah,
you, make them score, and then a couple of the players stepped up. But going to the South Carolina and Iowa game, man, it was a good game,
it
and
was.
I didn't get carried away with the I think she had 18 points in the first quarter or something like that, or 18 straight, and she's shooting well.
Mm,
And then they start figuring her out. They started adjusting. They started putting pressure defense on him, making her throw the ball away, different things like that. So I knew that nobody was going to beat South Carolina. It was just like you said, we thought they were the most complete team. They have a head coach and in Staley that we don't see in women's basketball and men's basketball, to be honest with you,
right.
anymore. She's a staple now. She's a staple, and she's one of those coaches who's going to get gritty and down hard. Her, LSU's coach, is a couple more, but she's starting to be the face, I feel like, of coaching for NCAA, not just women's or men's, but the entirety of NCAA. But hats off to undefeated season. It's going to be hard to repeat. Is this, last year they lost, I think one, obviously it was in the final four,
Hmm.
but is this, and I asked myself this question, is this a start to a dynasty, right? Is this a start to what UConn has been able to do for women's basketball for
Yeah.
eons and years,
Is
and they
this
just
that
got the
new
number,
version? Is
yeah,
that new version?
and they got somebody that she wanted. The number one player in high school is going to UConn.
Man.
She just and she's good too. I can't remember her name. It's Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to wake up, get the eye boogers out. Can't remember her name, but I saw a couple of her clips. She's the full package. She's what Angels Reese is supposed to be. To be completely honest with
Okay.
you, she's that good. She's a dominant force. She can pass. She can shoot. She can create her own shot. She can do all those things. And she's just not in the paint. She's at the top of the key. She's at the wing. She does a lot of things. But nah, South Carolina, I think this might be the start of the new dynasty, the face of women's basketball.
Man, and that's saying something because for so many years UConn was just running it, and we even saw the run with Tennessee, Pat Summit. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just,
Yeah.
and now we really does feel like we're on the verge of something. It's obviously hard to repeat, and with the transfer portal and
Yeah.
different things like that with players. I even think Haley Van Lith from LSU, she's transferring, so it's you got
Yeah.
so many players moving around different pieces. And also, with Caitlin Clark now, this was her last game of her college career, and her moving on to the WNBA. Obviously, Angel Reese did the same thing. She's got the ability to be a new face for WNBA, like over
Yeah.
a couple of years. Obviously, like she's got that track record of being a a sharpshooter, pulling up from anywhere. Honestly, what do you think about how
Yeah.
she's going to be able to translate into the WNBA for her next level?
Won't be difficult at all for her. I mean, what she's done in college basketball is going to translate right over to the WNBA.
Mm,
She's that gifted of a player, especially as a sharpshooter.
yeah,
What I would like her to improve on, and I think that'll come, is her level headness in heated moments and keeping her head focused and don't getting so caught up, and then that turns into turnovers, that
Yeah.
turns into yelling at the refs and all these things. But as a sharpshooter, and I feel like her defense can be a bit better. But I think it will translate quickly for her in the WNBA. I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to contest her shot. She's going to be they're going to get her free will. She's probably going to be the new face of the WNBA.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, she's going to have a clean transition to the WNBA. But I
Might be
don't
one of the
think
smoothest ones. It might be one of the smoothest ones we've seen in a while.
might be. I mean, Maya. I mean,
Oh yeah,
she's the GOAT
for sure.
of everybody. Well, Miller, if she would have her injuries, she was never able to go to the WNBA. But I think she would have been the smoothest transition too. But the injury kind of plagued her to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still one of the best, or the best at USC ever,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't have the opportunity to go to WNBA. But Maya was the smoothest. But I think Caitlin Carr has the ability to have one of the smoothest transitions to WNBA.
For sure, absolutely. And now getting into UConn repeating this past Monday night, UConn won 75-60, became the first team since 2007 to win back-to-back national championships. Tristan Newton scored 20 points for the Huskies, and their defense was, really the main standout, because I don't think there was any point overall this tournament, maybe in the Alabama game for the first half, where they felt threatened. And I said this the night of the game, but I feel like they're kind of like the Spurs of college basketball in a sense with how they play, because like they're just so like fundamental. There's nothing that's like flashy about them. They just they really just beat teams methodically and in a very like low pace manner. And their coach, I mean, he's a guy who just he said I think it was like 2019 or 2020. He said, "Man, we're gonna have to be dealt with for the next few years. Like we're on our way. We're coming up." And I feel as though this year was just another stamp of that, because man, like they never really had a down to the wire type of game. It was just smooth sailing for most of it. So what do you kind of think about what they were able to do in this game, and just how they were able to do something that's really done in college basketball, win back to back?
Yeah, I mean, he said a Deion Sanders before Deion Sanders. He's like, get us now.
Yeah.
Get us now, but we're gonna be a problem. And that's it. To be able to do back to back, even for a great organization, great team with UConn, they have some winners. They've been winning for a long time. And for them to have back to back championship, it says a lot.
Yeah.
And you look at that game. I mean, Zach Edey did not have a bad game for Purdue.
Oh, no.
37 points, 10 rebounds. Everything flowed through him, which I knew that was going to happen. But what UConn is so good, they'll allow the best player to get their points. They won't let anybody else beat them.
Yeah,
they won't let.
They want you to cook. They don't want
go
anybody
ahead,
else.
Let it go. If we know we got you beat, if you don't get everybody else started, if everything flows through one guy, we won for UConn for sure, because they're a complete team. They are disciplined. They don't have many turnovers. They're going to shoot pretty good for the percentage. Behind the arc is okay for UConn, but I mean, nobody shot good from the three-point line in that game. It's all getting to the line, finishing at the rim, and shooting high field goal percentage. But yeah, I knew UConn eventually is going to stall. Zach is going to stall out, and then they're gonna start moving the ball. They're going to start playing basketball, and they're going to get the W, and that's what happened. And it was a good game though. Hats off to Purdue. I didn't have them. You remember I said I had it in my head? Did not have them there.
I wasn't logged in. I wasn't logged in.
Was not logged in, ladies and gentlemen. Did not have the Boilermakers out of all people making it to the championship. But hats off to UConn for making history. Sure. They have an opportunity to do it all over again because they recruit really well. So they'll have an opportunity. Three-peat, oof, it's difficult. We see how difficult that is with any sport, but they have
even
opportunity
Georgia,
to do so.
even Georgia in college football, they
exactly.
were, super close to getting
they
into
were
the mix.
Really close. Yeah. But hey, shout out to Alabama, I guess, huh?
Shout out to Alabama. Someone's always gonna have those Alabama shots. He's gonna find a way to bring it Alabama.
I'm indifferent.
I know. And another thing that happened in college basketball, I mean, that's kind of like a game changer in a sense, or just like kind of a mark of end of an era, is Coach Calipari leaving Kentucky. It was announced that
Coach K.
he's named that the head coach of Arkansas will sign a 5-year contract starting at 7 million per season, and he even said like I don't have a team, I only got one player right now. He's like
Yeah.
I don't have a team yet. Like he said, man, it's gonna be a busy offseason. But looking at this though, man, like so many times, like we even look in college football. When you think of Alabama, you think, okay, you're going to see Nick Saban on the sidelines every Saturday. You're just used to
Yeah.
seeing it, and then Coach Cal, like you always expect it. Like you're so used to seeing Cal Kentucky, kind of became like the face of that program. But
Yeah.
what are kind of your thoughts on him leaving and just how he will be remembered in Kentucky? Because some people will say, man, he should have won more titles, but he had that
Yeah.
1 year with Anthony Davis, and that's a lot of really skilled teams that got in the mix,
Yeah.
but they couldn't close it out.
Well, to start there, even before NIL, obviously, you had the one and done. Coaches had to fight against the one and done. It was rare for a kid to
To
stay
stay.
2 years, let alone 4 years. So to be able to accomplish what he's had and recruit that good to be able to be in the contender with and fight against that one and done, I think it was, phenomenal he did with the Kentucky. But for him to leave Kentucky after 10 plus years and know him going to Arkansas, he had to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
There has to be an NIL pot that Arkansas is offering because Coach K has been complaining this year and last year about recruiting, not being able to, all these kids want money. I can't compete, blah, 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 blah. He's not the only coach, but we're talking about Coach K here.
Yeah.
So I think for him to leave Kentucky, which he loves Kentucky.
Oh
He
yeah,
said
he
my
loves.
wife loves Kentucky. I got the Derby right up the street. So for him to leave that and go to Arkansas, there has to be something in place for him to compete and
Mhm.
get back to where he was, right? And I think they said, okay, this is X amount of money we can do for NIL deals to get players here. That's what I think. That's the only way possible. And he stayed in the SEC.
Another interesting thing.
Yeah, so that's what I feel like. Kentucky was like, look, we don't care about that. Do your best. But
Yeah,
Arkansas was like, we want to win.
for
So
sure.
we have boosters, we have this, we have a pot of money that you can go get the best players and let's get a championship. Let's go for a championship. So I think that's why he left. But his legacy, Kentucky, will always be there.
Oh, for
Always be
sure.
there.
Good. I mean, and again, it's big shoes to fill. It's
Yeah.
big shoes to fill for anybody that follows up that team. Um, and I'm thinking back to it, man. Like he's had like when we look at the teams he's had, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, he had Jamal Murray there for a stretch. Um, Obviously Anthony Davis. He's had so. Is there a particular team that you're like that didn't win it that you're kind of shocked? Like, man, like I really feel as though like they were the team that was gonna like actually like close it out. Besides, the Anthony Davis team that was the one team he won. But like, was there any like particular team outside of that team that you felt as though like man that was like the second best team that he had?
Oh, John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. Those two. And John Wall was one of the hottest players coming out of high school.
Yes.
DeMarcus Cousins was a terror
Hmm.
high school, and then he was a
In
terror
the NBA at one
in
point.
college. Yeah, NBA for like his first 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
Oh, for sure. 40, 20 every night. We see that. Even with the Kings, and then we went to anywho. But
Yeah.
those two, even with the supporting cast, I thought they were good enough to win it all. But yeah, that's the one. I'm like, man, John Wall didn't get one. DeMarcus Cousins didn't get one. That scratched my head
Yeah.
because when he got both of them, I was like, oh yeah, Coach K he can recruit to get both of those guys, and they were highly recruited. Duke was there. North Carolina was there. I think UConn offered
Yes.
both of them. Like they had a bunch of offers to be able to. These two guys, I think DeMarcus Cousins from Mobile. No, is D Cousins from Mobile? He's from Alabama area.
Yeah.
And then John Wall's from up north. So for him to come, both of them, to go to
To
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
yeah, Coach K, he can recruit.
He's a master recruiter, man. He's a
Master
master
recruit to get
recruiter
them to come to Kentucky. But man, that's the team I felt like should have won one, but never did.
for sure. Man, breaking news a couple of days ago. This is a conflicted conflicted individual. A lot of different varying things about him. But OJ Simpson passes away, man, and And a lot of people has
Yeah,
different things about. Oh man, like he's a murderer. What do we actually? How should we like
he was
treat
acquitted.
this? Acquitted.
He
Taking
was
like
acquitted.
when we look back at O.J. Simpson, obviously what he did at USC, the trial, all those different things. I was literally watching 30 for
Phenomenal.
30 documentary.
Yeah.
One of the best. I'm telling you, one of the
Yes.
best 30 for 30s made in America.
Orenthal.
Made in America, part 5 parts. To me, even better than
Yes,
the
bro.
FX series. One of the best put
Yes.
together documentaries ever. Like when we look back at
Absolutely.
OJ and everything that people remember him for, what kind of your overall takeaways?
Man, I'm gonna praise OJ a little bit and give his flowers. I'm not gonna, one of the greatest running backs ever, ever to what he accomplished in that time period,
Yeah.
racial. To be able to the only knack against him besides, and I'll get to that. I don't want to talk too long because we're pressed for time. He's like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay, what? You're not black,
Okay.
you're OJ? I was like, okay, he really said that. And I had to go to I found it and I was like, oh, he really said that. Jay-Z wasn't playing.
It was
Okay.
not.
Yeah, but man, for a big community of people whose hatred towards OJ for doing something he was acquitted of doing wasn't, you know what I mean? It's a different, it is not even a difference. It's a double standard when people can hold a grudge for one individual and what he may or may not have done, and you tell another group of community to get over 400 plus years of slavery and oppression. But as soon as this man dies, you crap on him and everything's remembered, but it's okay. That was my thought pattern. As soon as I start seeing these posts, I'm like, this community tells us to get over all of this, but can't get over Michael Vick's involvement of killing dogs. Can't get over O.J. Simpson, uh, may or may killing her or not. The jury did not find him guilty. His peers did not find him guilty.
There's a track
Even if he
record.
did it or not, you guys hold grudges this long and tell another group of people to shut up, get over it. That's all I gotta say about that.
Since
Rest in peace to
1994.
OJ.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Since 1994, man. That
Rest in
was
peace to OJ Simpson. We live in a world of double standards, and it comes from literally one big community that does it all the time, but tells other communities
get
to
over it.
get over it.
Yeah,
Okay. We
definitely,
love you, OJ.
definitely,
Even if you
definitely.
did kill somebody or not. We see people who kill people get out of jail and be forgiven
And are
and live a
embraced
good.
right back in, embraced right back into society quickly.
Wow. Okay.
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And now moving on to our NBA topics with Giannis' injury and kind of the concerns of it for the postseason. It was announced
Uh
yesterday that
oh.
Giannis will miss the remainder of the regular season after a confirmed strain of his left calf. Um,
Uh oh.
yeah, that's definitely a uh-oh because we all know we've talked about it a lot the last few episodes about what we think
Yeah.
about Milwaukee. Um, how far they can go into the postseason, how will they, the gelling process taking a lot longer because usually when we have a new duo form, it takes around this time they're kind of like clicking at a better pace.
Mm-hmm.
What are kind of your thoughts on this? Because this is massive for Milwaukee because a hampered or not a fully 100% Giannis is going to be something that's going to affect them, and they're going to have to be play this very cautiously. How do you kind of think about how this is playing out?
I watched them play last night um, without Dame, and I didn't know why Dame did not play. I don't know if he has an injury or not. They didn't when I clicked on it, they didn't say anything about it. It was like the end of the first quarter, so they weren't talking about him.
Yeah,
And it's like this is the opportunity for Dame to take over. I see in the past couple of games, even before I've seen Dame being more vocal. After we talked about him, they don't have a leader.
right.
Dame has been more vocal, and then Giannis is out for the season. This is what I want to see. You're going against a good OKC team. They really handed them their tails.
Yeah.
OKC looks so good. Wellington, we haven't seen this since the Warriors came and blossomed. The OKC is blossomed. Shea and Chet. Chet, they need to put some respect on
They
Chet
got to,
Holmgren
bro.
name, bro.
They got to.
They're forgetting who the hype he had before he got hurt, bro. Chet is grooming. Shea is grooming.
Mm-hmm.
Their 3-point percentage is increasing every freaking week, bro. These guys look good. But back on the Bucks, they're in trouble if Dame don't take over. We've seen Chris Middleton not be able to handle, and he's still coming off injuries and trying to get healthy. The only blossoming part of this is Bobby Portis. He coming off the bench. Dame has to take over. Giannis is not there anymore. Brook Lopez is a banged up. Malik, like all these Patrick Bev, bro. You naming all these names.
Many red flags. It's so many red flags right now. It's so many red flags right now. Like that's why I keep saying I'm like. That's what I was saying. Like early exit. Early. That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Possibly. Because if Dame don't show why they went to go get him. Early exit for sure.
Yeah, bro. This is gonna be one of the most covered progressions because Milwaukee, they're gonna be on watch. They're gonna be watching the postseason. Everybody's gonna be like, okay, what's their first round matchup? What's their second round matchup? It's like, okay, because this team is looking vulnerable. They're looking extremely vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Definitely. Wait and see.
I think it's gonna be early exit, bro.
Oh, you're already there.
What has Dame shown us? But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
early exit for sure.
And now moving on to Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson interview with Draymond. It's interesting because near the end of the episode, Draymond was kind of talking about. I think the middle of it, he was talking about how does Klay feel about him getting ejected and different things like that. And I could just tell Klay looked a little caught off guard. Klay was like, "Oh, I didn't think this was in the rundown of the topics. Like, I thought we were just like kicking it." And then he was like, "Well, it's different when you're not on there." He was giving the PR answer, and I was just like, "Klay feels differently.
Differently.
I know he feels differently, but he's on his show. He doesn't want to say anything that's going to ruffle any feathers. He knows it's going to get clipped up. He knows that,
right? Yeah.
And so he's like, this is going to be a major clip. Everybody's going to post it. What did you kind of think about that interview? Because I think if Steph had been on that episode, I think Steph is the one who's really looking like, I am so sick of you getting like ejected all the time. Bro. I think it would have been a little different. Bro. But what were kind of your overall thoughts?
I thought it was a pointless interview, to be completely honest with you. I think it was pointless. I thought this could have been literally a press release, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was an hour for no reason. And if you're not going to be honest and create a space for people to be honest about you, then it's pointless. Why? Like he probably came over like, "Hey, bro, just come on the podcast. We're gonna talk about sports," and then you just go these questions. And he can't really be honest with you. So I thought it was pointless for sure. I think Steph probably would have probably been more. It would still been like polished, but it would have been a more look honest. Like, bro, the only like when he was hitting all those threes, that reminded me. Okay, that's the Draymond we used to see
against the Lakers, right?
Against the Lakers, yeah.
He was cooking.
Yeah, I was like, well, he ate that morning or that night or whatever. But I thought it was a pointless interview, bro. We got a tidbit of information about the free agency that we've all been wanting to hear since before the injury, or even before that. I wanted him to leave and to show people how good he really was. Yeah. Yes, thank you for Wellington remembers, man. Yeah, man. Yes, I want him to go to Utah. There was him and
Donovan Mitchell, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then Rudy Gobert, come on. Yeah, that was a missed volley. But now I just think like, bro, you got to retire there. Your opportunity to leave is you're stuck.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
It's nothing bad with being stuck in Golden State at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like.
But you're Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
You're Scotty. At least Scotty got the opportunity to play without Jordan several times.
Mhm.
And we saw that he needed Jordan. And put some respect on Scotty. Jordan needed Scotty.
For
But
sure, for sure.
Scotty needs Jordan more than Jordan needed Scotty.
What happened in that '94 playoffs? Was it against the Knicks that they lost that year without MJ? I feel like it was the
I think it was because
yeah.
Ewing got. I think Ewing
That was
got
the year the Knicks went to the
close.
finals. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Ewing got close, but yo, New York ain't been that close in a while.
In a while.
But they got really close. They got really close. But I think it was New York because New York were playing really. Yeah. It was New York. I think it was New York.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Jordan not here. Oh, we about to go
out. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna give us 40? Nobody.
They're like, Big Brother not around anymore. Like,
right, exactly. That bald head wonder. Who had the world? He trying to play baseball. Stay over there.
Cool.
Stay over there.
But yeah, the Klay being on there, I just think it was one of those. I could just automatically tell Klay didn't know this question was coming up. He would have looked way more prepared. He looked really caught off guard. I think if he would have had like if Draymond had Charles Barkley on there, I would have been like, okay, like let's see somebody actually challenge Draymond for like some of these things. But you had your buddy on there, like he wasn't gonna say anything like crazy to you, like he was gonna let it slide. So that was a very
pointless.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd rather him have LeBron on there or JJ because both of them.
I would like to see that episode. I would. Like to see that
I want them to like, hey, what you think about like, bro? You know, you be doing. Anywho, we press. Yeah. I don't want to see. I'm trying to minimize my talking this morning.
And now getting to the Timberwolves, I know we were going to mention Anthony Edwards' 50-point performance, but recently the Nuggets are like in a really important game beat the Timberwolves, won 116-107, and
game.
And I think Denver's number one in the West right now. That could have kind of decided like who would be number one in the West. Really important game, and it was interesting even before the game. Like a day before the game, they were asking Anthony Edwards about it, and he talked about it's one of the most important games of the season for us. And then Jokic, he kind of had like this is it's another game where we can just check ourselves and see how we measure up, but I think Denver viewed that as a game like, yeah, we want to win this, but we feel as confident as anybody that we can win anywhere. And they still show that they are, to me, the cream of the crop in the West. When they have to put it together, they're going to be able to do it. What did you kind of think about that game, and just also, how Denver's looking heading to the postseason, and then Minnesota still being one of those top 3 seeds?
Everyone is I think it's a 3-way topic for OKC and all these guys,
yeah.
And then you beat Timberwolves and then you lose to the Spurs. It's so weird for the Nuggets. But I watched the Minnesota and the Denver Nuggets game, and I was like, man, they're evenly matched. But what I love about Denver so much, and then Jamal Murray just coming back off injury, that's going to be on the back end. We got to talk about that. We've been talking about his injury since the bubble. And what I like about them so much, when they see blood in the water, it's no let up. And what I mean by that, I mean fast break points. I mean strong, intensified defense. I mean 3-point percentage, shooting from behind the arc. When they see the blood, first, second quarter were very tight. And then when they saw blood in the water, they did not let up. And I'm like, this is what makes them different. A lot of teams, like the Lakers last night, almost 20 turnovers, really made me mad, bro. But the Denver, when they see this, one of the only teams when they see blood in the water, they attack. They don't let up. They're not going to make silly mistakes. They're going to shoot well. Yeah, and then Porter, that's their golden goose, man. It's not
He's
Jamal
the X
Murray.
factor. He's the
X
factor.
It's not Jokic. It's Porter, Michael Porter Jr. Oh my goodness, he looks so like bland. Like he doesn't even care about shooting. Like he shot a 3-point shot. I was like, he was just like, ran down the court. Just celebrate. Just wipe the sweat from his brow, and then went to play defense. But I like that type of player.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Porter Jr. The more and more I watch Denver Nuggets, the more and more I'm always zoomed in on him. I'm like, we know Jokic. Jokic is going to have 13
Yeah,
assists.
obvious.
Jokic is going to look to, and then, but Michael Porter Jr., I think that's the difference maker for them, especially when Jamal Murray is out. Michael Porter Jr. is the difference maker for them.
And you gotta think about that. You gotta think about the
Yeah.
fact that Jamal Murray is gonna be out
Mhm.
sometimes, and like, okay, like if he's not there, I think Michael Porter Jr. knows. And even like Aaron Gordon's really extremely key for them as
Yes.
well, because in that
Mhm.
last finals, man, I thought
Yeah.
outside of Jokic, he was like probably one of
Oh
the
my
had the best
goodness.
performances, So I think that's extremely pivotal. But Michael Porter Jr., man, when he's really clicking, they're almost unbeatable. They're almost
Mhm.
unbeatable in a sense.
And he plays big minutes for them. Average like 35, 37 minutes a game.
Definitely. And now getting to the Suns, they had earlier in the week had a blowout loss to the Clippers, and then recently they were able to win 124 to 108 on the road after their blowout loss. Rallied in the fourth to score 13 straight in the game on a 23 to 2 run. Man, the Suns have to be like one of the most disappointing teams in the league. I'll talk about the exit in the East. I think early exit in the West, West for these guys, man, because I just
Absolutely.
we talk about it so much time it almost sounds like a broken record, but this
Yeah.
big three just has not meshed at all. We don't know when they're all going to be healthy. We don't know when they're going to be on the court. It's and even when they're together, they don't have that impressive of an overall record. It's not
Mm-mm.
even like anything like, okay, like if they're all together, they're going to be extremely good. Like I remember Kendrick Perkins once said, the Celtics, that original big three, never lost a series when everybody was healthy because like Perkins wasn't there for that game 7 in '09 against, or I mean 2010 against the Lakers, and he's like, well, if I was there, we had a shot. But with the Suns, it's like we don't even that big three. They're when they're healthy, it's not even anything that's like you
Mm-mm.
know impressive or formidable. Like what do you kind of think about this team and how they're and how things are just not looking good heading into the postseason?
They have everything you want in a team. The veteran presence, the guys who
Yeah,
can shoot high percentage from the 3 point. That's Eric Gordon, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal,
name
Nurkic.
it.
Nurkic, Thaddeus Young. All these guys at one point in their career were really, really good or still really, really good.
Yeah,
They have every piece, veteran presence, supporting cast. They have a bench. It's not like they don't have a bench. Grayson Allen's been playing decently well off the bench.
yeah,
It's just they don't play as a team. One, two, they don't have a leadership. We talked about this several times. The leadership
yeah,
aspect, and then they don't play as a team. It's individuality on this squad, and it starts with Kevin Durant. And you said this several times that Kevin Durant is not a leader. Devin Booker, not a leader. Eric Gordon, not a leader. Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen is definitely not a leader. So all of these different meshes are not meshing.
yeah.
It's not just having talent on your team. It's having leadership and how can you play as a team. And we've seen them not play as a team
Countless times.
back to back years. And last year in the playoffs really showed they do not play as a team.
Yeah. Yeah,
Craziness, man.
definitely my pick for
Early exit
early exit for sure.
in the West.
Um,
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
like that.
I would say so. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.